Well, that's 2 months I'm never gonna get back. This is the Allegiances camo, and yeah, it took 2 months to unlock this camo. If you're wondering how or why in the world it took 2 months to unlock this camo, it's because we had to wait 8 weeks for each of, the sets of weekly challenges to unlock, and if you complete all 8 sets of at least, like 5 weekly challenges from each week, which is really easy to do, then you unlock the Allegiances camo. And I mean, when I'm looking at it, I feel very conflicted, right? Because, like, compared to last season's with the Rotten Inferno camo, like, that was a really sick camo, and I mean, like, it looks good, I think. Like, all around, it's a pretty clean camo. It's just, again, I'm going back and forth in my mind on this one, but I think it's just the fact that it took 2 months to unlock, right? Like, if this was part of a normal event, I'd be like, alright, you know what, sick camo, but I guess it's just the build-up to it, where it's just like, yeah, it's cool, but at the end of the day, I'm still probably just gonna end up rocking something like this or something like this. That being said, for completing the week 8 challenges, they give you this weapon blueprint. It's called Squad Games, and it's for the BP-50, and honestly, I think I actually like the look of this more than the Allegiances camo we got on that. I'm not sure. I'm going back and forth on that one, but I mean, all around, it's like, it's an okay blueprint, right? Like, it has okay recoil control. If anything, you're still gonna have to kind of do it yourself like I am here, where you kind of like pull down on the stick a little bit to control it, and otherwise, there is still an attachment slot open, so if you want to speed up the ADS time, you could throw like a laser on it. It's a pretty good looking blueprint, but if anything, I'd probably just end up mismatching the attachments until I get, the type of build that I would want to rock with this. Otherwise, there's really nothing else happening at the moment, right? Like, normally in the last week of a season, they have an event going on, but they didn't even do that this time. They threw on double XP, weapon XP, battle pass XP, so I'm assuming that'll be going until the end of the season, but otherwise, I mean, that's really it. There's no special modes. There's nothing happening. They even took the get high mode out of the game. Like, this is about as vanilla as Modern Warfare 3 could get at the moment. So I guess we could just dive into, like, I don't know, the small map mosh pit, season 3 mosh pit. We'll go small map mosh pit just to kind of boost the dopamine levels of the gameplay. I'm not gonna lie, every time that I've been on this game, I've just been running around with the Lockwood Mark IIs. I'm so glad that they added this aftermarket part to the game. I also need to switch around my shrieks again. For some reason, I had Mosquito Drone on for the longest time, just because that was one of the things that they had for the UAV event. I always just end up running the exact same shrieks in the new Call of Duties. It's a UAV, a counter UAV, and then some sort of just basic, like, helo type thing where I don't have to control it, but it'll still passively get kills like an Overwatch helo. I just don't know what else to run, because you can literally take out shrieks with just, like, bullet weapons nowadays. Thankfully, it's not as bad now, but I remember back in Cold War, you could literally take out a sentry gun just by running up behind it and punching it twice. It was ridiculous. But despite the fact that there's not really a whole lot else happening until the end of the season, they did end up dropping trailers for, like, season 4 and all that. And, all this stuff looks good there for the most part. Like, multiplayer and Warzone, obviously, there's a lot of content there, but in terms of zombies, man, it is lacking. I know they already said that, like, Treyarch is basically no longer working on the mode. Like, Sledgehammer is basically just kind of taking over, and they're just putting out enough content for it to be considered an update for that mode until the end of the year, but otherwise we're not getting anything beyond, like, small little things here and there. Like, they're kind of adding, like, a round-based objective to the mode, but it kind of just feels like what they did back in Vanguard, which, don't get me wrong, I love Call of Duty Vanguard. I literally just made a video a couple days ago at this point, just kind of, like, gushing about the game, because I absolutely do love that game, but it just feels like what they did in that mode, right? Where, like, they wanted to do one thing, but then the community kept asking for round-based, so then they tried to give in and try to meet halfway, but it felt like such a half-hearted attempt to the point of it's like, like, why did you even do this in the first place? Like, if a developer has a vision for something, I would rather them just go full in on their vision rather than try to meet their community and their fans halfway and give a half-hearted attempt and make something that's just so lackluster that you don't even feel the need or necessity to play with it or interact with it in the first place anyway. Like, that's really how I feel about this new quote-unquote round-based mode or objective that they're adding to the game, because the way that they're implementing it is just so bizarre. At least at the time of the mode, whoa, there are so many enemies spawning into the back. What was I even supposed to do right there? But it's basically going to be one of those things where the players have to race to the objective, and whoever gets there first basically just, they get to do it. They and their team get to go interact with it, but if you didn't make it in time, then whoops, sorry. I mean, there's going to be multiple in the map, so it's not going to be one of those things where it's like, alright, there's one round-based objective, whoever gets there first out of the 8 squads, that's it. No, there's gonna be a couple of them, but still, there's not gonna be enough for every squad in the game to be able to do it. And mind you, this is gonna be one of those things where it does take you to, like, a completely different location, so if they did allow all of the squads to do it, it's not like they would be interfering in any way, so I don't really understand why they're doing it this way. Perhaps this is some bizarre attempt to boost retention, because they'll think that, like, hey, if a player doesn't get it in one match, then they'll play that match through to completion, or at least long enough to exfil, then they'll keep diving into matches until they're able to do it. So I don't know if it's some twisted scheme to boost retention like that, or if there's technical limitations like in terms of like server space and stuff like that. But again, why not just make a mode or allow us to play the mode solo? Because it's one of those things that I've been saying where MWZ is going to die a very sad death one day. Since there is no way to play the mode solo or offline or anything like that, like once players stop playing the game, it's basically going to be like Blackout back in Black Ops 4, where you just won't be able to play the mode. Everything that you did before won't matter, and for the players that didn't get to experience it before the time that, you know, just whenever players stop playing it, well, they're gonna be screwed, right? Like, they're not gonna be able to experience the mode, all the story missions and stuff like that, unless they push out an update that allows you to play the game by yourself, or maybe there's a way to, like, kind of, like, organize private matches of zombies just with, like, you and your friends. Like, unless they can figure something like that out, then yeah, the mode's just gonna die and it's gonna be completely unplayable one day, which is another reason where I'm kind of just like, alright, you know, I've invested enough time into it, I've 100%ed all the content, I have all the schematics, and at that point, I've already said this before, but once you 100% all the content over in zombies, there's really no reason to keep playing. But furthermore, it's kind of hard for me to justify investing so much time into a mode that's just going to be unplayable anyway one day. So, like, I'll invest enough time into it to where I can experience all the content, but beyond that, one, I don't have a reason to keep playing anyway, but two, I don't want to if all that's just going to be meaningless in the end. And I know the same argument could technically kind of be made for multiplayer, like, well, one day, if you think about it, the public matches are kind of going to be, like, unplayable, but at the same time, private matches will always be there, and you can always play private matches by yourself with bots at the very least. And I know it's not ideal, it's not like the online Call of Duty experience, but all of your unlockables do transfer over to private match. So if you unlocked like Interstellar, Borealis, Bioluminescent, Orion, all that stuff, it will transfer over to the private match, so at least you can still use the stuff that you worked for, even if you have to play with bots. So I really do hope they can figure something else out there, and I hope that maybe somehow they could find a way to just kind of give us like a straight up round-based mode that is also able to be played solo without needing like, you know, like 24 players to even start the match, you know what I mean? Like, if they could just take whatever like round-based thing they're going to be doing with this objective and spin it off in a way to where it's a solo mode you can start up, so then we can at least still use the stuff that we worked for, or at the very least just so we can at least, you know, play the mode period, you know, long term, then, you know, I think that'd be awesome. Otherwise, they already started dropping teasers for Black Ops 6 like officially, so we're definitely gonna be seeing a reveal probably sooner than we have for like any other Call of Duty in recent years, because usually it's been going up until like the end of summer before we start seeing stuff get revealed, but it seems like they're pushing the marketing on this way sooner. It's actually more like what we used to see back in the day, because for a while they used to reveal the games like early summer, you know, like sometimes even before summer would begin. But then all of a sudden, during like the Warzone era, they kind of started like pushing it back and waiting longer for the releases, and it's probably so it wouldn't distract from like the current game sales, the current game season. But now I guess they're kind of going back to their old ways, which, you know, I'm cool with that. You know, I love having like the whole summer to speculate and get excited about the new game. It's funny, I've been seeing a bunch of people online like, wait, this is gonna be Black Ops 6? What happened? Where's Black Ops 5? And you can tell that those people just like don't play Call of Duty or just haven't been around for a while, because like, you know, Black Ops Cold War, that's Black Ops 5. And furthermore, I thought the game was going to be called Black Ops Gulf War, at least that's what the leaks were saying. Now it's going to be called Black Ops 6. I don't know. People just kind of like run with whatever they hear. You know, I don't follow leaks or rumors. I just see it in YouTube titles. Like, I don't use social media, so the only time that I do see this stuff is, again, in YouTube titles. So, you know, I'm just scrolling through and that's what I see. And it really just does seem to be a thing where like one person says one thing and then everybody else just kind of runs with it, regardless of how true or not that it is. I never click on those videos or watch that stuff, though. I really do think leaks and rumors are just kind of a waste of time, because it's like, dude, they're going to be announcing the game eventually regardless. Like, why waste the time speculating when you could just wait to see what happens? Like, I understand being excited and talking about it, like, that's one thing. Like, you know, I'm literally doing it right now, but like making it like video after video after video just dedicated to leaks, it's like, dog, that is so boring. Call of Duty is a yearly franchise. It's like, oh my gosh, guys, you will never believe it, it was just confirmed that Madden NFL 25 is going to be releasing this year. It's like, well, yeah, it's Madden. And in this case, it's like, yeah, dude, it's Call of Duty. It's been doing this for the last 20 years, dog. Another thing I totally forgot about, but I'm actually really excited about now that I'm thinking about it. See, I didn't grind it out a whole lot this season just because I was like, you know, I got it for one weapon. That's good enough for me. But we're going to be having these new weapon prestige camos coming out, and I'm really excited to see what the next one is. And I'm also excited to see if we're possibly going to be able to keep grinding out previous seasons even afterwards, because it would kind of suck if these were gone forever, just kind of being like one of those FOMO things, like, oh, you didn't grind it out during that season? Well, that sucks. Because that's one thing I will say about the recent Call of Duties, I feel like they're leaning just a bit too heavily into the FOMO to where, like, you know, if you come over here to the event tab, you see I got like 30 camos here, and special tab, you know, I got like all the camos here, but like one day, if somebody tries to buy this game in the future and come back to this game, say in like 5 years, Do the same thing with a game like Black Ops 4. You go back to Black Ops 4, basically 100% of the content in that game, there might be some like limited things that I'm forgetting of at the moment, like a couple of camos or something like that, but when you go back to the game, like basically like 99% of the content there is just unlockable, whereas like with Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, when people come back to this game years in the future, all this stuff, special camos, you won't be able to unlock those. Same thing with the event camos, you won't be able to unlock, like, literally any of these. Sure, you can still grind out, like, the mastery camos, like the Interstellar, Borealis, all that stuff. But when it comes to, like, the weapon prestige camos, the event camos, special camos, certain weapon blueprints, and other unlockables and stuff like that, like, a big percentage of the unlockable content in this game, I want to say, like, almost, like, probably 50% of it, if not more, has just been tied to events. That includes stuff like decals, weapon stickers, you know, like calling cards, emblems, all that. So as much as I love the events and it's cool being able to like go in, play this stuff, grind it out, I kind of hope, right? Like what if they could do something to where at the end of every season, or maybe heck, you know, if they really want to be egregious with it, maybe wait until the game is over, wait until the final season ends. Then they could add like a tab in one of the menus called like the archive, for example, where it's sort of like the battle pass system in Halo Infinite, where you can go in and select a certain challenge or event from the past that you want to grind out. So then you can like go in, go through the archive, be like, okay, I want to grind out the UAV event, for example, because obviously now at this point it's over, but say at the end of the season, whether they would add that in, or again at the very end of the game's life cycle, you go in, you click on it, you're like, okay, now I'm gonna grind this stuff out and unlock stuff that was only previously available during that event. I feel like that would be a very happy middle ground, because then you got people like me where it's like, all right, you know, I'm always in the loop of Call of Duty. Anytime an event's coming out, anytime there's something to grind, I'm gonna hop in and grind it. But then that also gives the people that say maybe they're a bit younger and they just, you know, maybe they're not even old enough to play Call of Duty yet. Maybe there's some babies out there right now going goo goo gaga, but in a couple of years they're ready to play Call of Duty, because we all know kids are playing Call of Duty all the time, and they want to dive in and say it's years down the line when Modern Warfare 3 is only like $10 at GameStop. They pick up the game, pop it in their Xbox or their PlayStation, and they want to go in and play it. Well, that way they'll be able to grind out all that previously available content that they just would have like not been able to access otherwise, or maybe just for, you know, some other people, because I know there are people that are some, you know, a bit more casual where they'll mainly just play for the campaign or something like that, so they generally wait until the game goes on sale years down the line, or maybe, you know, they'll hear some friends talk about it where they're like, oh, you know, I'm super nostalgic for this game, and then that person ends up buying it just so they can kind of like have that nostalgic moment with them, because that definitely happens all the time. You know, it's one of those things where I see it online constantly where it's like, you know, some people are either newer to the franchise or they're just a bit younger, so they miss out on some of those older games like Black Ops 1 or Modern Warfare 2, and they hear a bunch of people talking about it online, then they go pick it up for themselves and they go in and play it, and guess what? There's a lot of content for them to grind out there. But so in these newer games, yes, there's a lot of content, but a lot of the content that also was there is just kind of gone forever now. I mean, obviously, if you were there at the time and you grinded it out, yeah, you have it, but if you try to do it in the future, yeah, no. But anyway, that's enough babbling and rambling for me. I'm almost max level, so I'm probably just gonna grind it out, because obviously I already finished my battle pass a while ago, but when it comes to, like, my actual level, I believe 650 is the max of the season, so it's only 23 levels. I'll probably grind that out. I might make a few more videos till the season's done, but otherwise, yeah, we're just kind of straight shooting to Season 4 at this point. I thought there would at least be one more event, but it doesn't seem so. So, yeah, double XP is active. It'll probably be active till the end of the season, just like they've done in previous seasons, where it's active for, like, the last week or so. So if you have any weapons you want to level up, or if you're trying to hit max rank, or if you got to finish your battle pass, now would definitely be the time to do it. But anyway, as always, mash shot on thinking all the Patreons in. Remember, thank you all in the low ball of the and make sure to thank you all in the mid ball of the team. The last game, daddy, many of the base shut those on GT run events on the G School. Thank you guys so much. You guys are literal legends. I love you. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.